can hurt. That's why in the Bible we hear the counsel. It says very clearly, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, courage, and self-control. A sound mind. That's the Spirit of God. Now, if we are going to talk about the spirit of Satan, how can we describe it with the basic qualities or characteristics of the spirit of Satan? What would you say? Spirit of self. What else? Pride. What else? Deceitfulness. I imagine that if I ask you a question and you remember what we talked about last night, you will know exactly what we would like to put there. Fear and shame. There you go. Because that's the essence of Satan's work. Satan always works from a center of fear and shame. The moment you have fear and shame in your life, you know that he's working with you. Because the Spirit of God takes away fear and shame. Cleans us from that. Gives us courage to be honest, transparent. Doesn't matter what you think of me. All I care for is what God thinks of me. My identity needs to be rooted in God, not in what people say. In God. So, how do I do that? That's not easy. It's a process. And in the process, we all need to grow to learn this relationship with God. Okay. Now, if the spirit of Satan is working in my heart, how would I relate to people? Would you like to see some words that are the basics for the spirit of fear and the spirit of shame to how do we work? Usually when we have a center of fear and shame, we are going to try to control people. We're going to try to manipulate people. We're going to use force. We're going to intrude on people. We're going to exploit people. We're going to be impatient. And you can add so many things that are negative. There you go with violence, anger, rejection, all the rest. Because it comes from that center of fear and shame. And when we identify that, and then we can know what to do. Because if we continue living on the basis of this spirit, the consequences are terrible. Because this spirit of fear and shame will always create in us a spirit of rebellions and disobedience. Rebellion and disobedience. That's the outcome. Now, if we, on the other hand, allow God to live in our hearts, to be there, to grow in us, the spirit of love and courage will always lead us to, yes, we should guide and teach and share, but we should be respectful. We should always give freedom to people. We cannot force people. Can anybody be forced into salvation? No. We should always be patient with people, compassionate, and all the qualities of the Spirit of God. See, we should relate to people from that center of love and courage, with compassion, with understanding. And if we do that, always what we will do, what we will have, is a meek and obedient spirit. Meek and obedient. There will be humbleness, a willingness to bless other people, even those that treats us wrong. Now, let me just complete this here quick. You know the verse that says in Zechariah 4:6, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. How about if we add a few more words? Not by might nor by power, neither by shouting, sermons, manipulation, threats, anger, punishment, rejection, nagging. Anybody likes to nag here? You know what nagging is, huh? Keep on saying the same thing over and over again. Huh? Nagging, violence, control, hostility, shame, humiliation. I imagine that most of us, if not all of us, have used some of these things sometime in our lives. Correct? We've done it. It's the natural result of the spirit of the enemy in us. And we don't know how to handle those things. They are part of our normal life. But we are not happy when we have those things. Tell me, who is happy when you're acting on the basis of these emotions? There's no way we can be happy. It's a constant up and down, up and down. Another way to identify the spirit of the spirits is to identify, first of all, the spirit of pride. Always Satan has this attitude of pride. Defend yourself, defend your right, make them respect you, give them what they deserve, keep your pride, have dignity. Have you heard expressions like that? Very common today. Is the pop psychology. You know, there's a lot of psychology that is humanistic, and it's not based on God's principles. And then on the other hand, the Spirit of Christ is really so different that the world does not even recognize it today. Have you ever heard a person that would say psychologically, from a psychological point of view, humble yourself, do not defend your rights? That's totally contrary to what people say today. Defend your rights, give them what they deserve, you know. And Jesus says, no, don't defend your right. Let me ask you this question. Did Jesus defend his right one time?